Is thinking about launching Ozone Enzo, I think. It's a little cross, but he's gonna make it work. The brave wind dummy. The rest of us are watching. An important thing in paragliding is knowing when to launch. And I'm kind of a rookie at that. So, the owner of this site just launched, which makes me think maybe I should. That was a crappy launch, but I got my lift right here. I was almost in the bushes. All right. It's very difficult to do free flight and talk at the same time. So you'll get what you get. I'm getting a visual on the LZ, all right. So my goal is to get over there while still having a glide back to the LZ. So most of you know me as a paramotor pilot, and that's true. Something like 85% of my hours are on a paramotor, but I do have 50 some hours. I think it's literally 51 hours in free flight. So I'm a P3. And this is Tater Hill. Tater Hill might be the best place in North Carolina. It might be the best place on the East Coast. The owner of Tater Hill says it is, so it's true. Don't complain. He's very generous for letting us fly out here. The way that it works, the wind is kind of coming, I want to say it's coming up the hill, from my left as I fly on this, but it's not. It's almost coming from the side, and that makes it tricky. It makes it a little bumpy, a little more mechanical turbulence than there otherwise would be, and a little less lift. So I spent almost this entire day, as a matter of fact, almost all of my free flight experience is me scratching to stay up. I've never been in a spot, I wish I had been, where I feel like I'm comfortable just throwing away 1,000 feet, knowing that I can get it back. Probably the main difference between free flight and paramotoring is that in free flight, you're always working to stay up. Always, always, always. That's your goal. Everything I'm doing here is trying to figure out where the wind is, trying to figure out where the lift is. I'm probably talking about that right now. I think because the wind's kind of in front of me, I hope that if I can get over this ridge, that it's going to be lift city. And once I can get high enough, or maybe catch a thermal and get high, then I can fly out into the flats and go from thermal to thermal to thermal and have a brilliant cross country. So far, that hasn't been my experience, and it doesn't happen today. I do get out over the valley, catch some thermals, but I'm not able to chain together thermal after thermal after thermal. I think part of that is the East Coast is just difficult. Now, there are people that can do it. It's possible. As a matter of fact, that guy that was the wind dummy at the very start of this video recently set the North Carolina all-time record for longest flight ever at 70 kilometers, 70. So I don't know what that is. Okay, I just looked it up. Now I know what it is. It's 43 miles. 43 miles is the farthest that anyone has ever gone on a paraglider in North Carolina. And that guy, by the way, is like a world-class pilot. He's competed at worldwide events and done well in them. So, he's no chump, but 43 miles is just the best you can do around here. There's a lot of reasons for that. Like if you look at this hill, it's filled with trees. That creates this kind of mechanical friction and slows down the wind as it comes up. You don't get that good scratching when you get too close to them. The trees don't heat up in the same way that, say, brown dirt would. And you just don't get the same kind of thermal activity. It's hard. It's hard out here. But it can be done, and you work with what you got, not what you wish you had. And I'm out here learning my way around. So, yeah, some thermal stuff. This was kind of funny to me. What happened was I realized I had forgotten to hook up my speed bar. It's a mistake. I should have caught it pre-flight. I know. But what I did is I got some altitude, the most I could off the ridge lift, pointed out in the right direction, and focused my attention on connecting the speed bar, which you can see me do here. Well, funny thing, while I was connecting the speed bar, like towards the end of it, I caught a really great thermal. And I'm like, man, talk about not a repeatable process. While I wasn't paying attention, I had some of my best luck of the day. So apparently, the secret to finding good lift is to stop paying attention and hook in your speed bar. You'll sky out. That beeping you heard is my Vario. And when you gain altitude, it beeps like that. When you lose altitude, it goes bonk. So those are really happy noises to me. I think if I had it going all video long, it would be pretty annoying for a non-pilot. But when a pilot hears that stuff, they're like, oh, it's music to his ears. It's not just beeping up and bawing down. The up has lots of different tones. It can go beep, 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 or beep, 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 beep. And it was kind of, rocking for me here. And you can see I'm getting a little altitude. But even at this altitude, I never in free flight get to where, like, I haven't rocked a sat in free flight. This is an acrobatic move where you lose a lot of altitude. Outside of an SIV environment yet. I just, even when I'm at 6,000 feet, I feel like it was really hard to get there. And I'm not sure I can easily get back. So... that's the big difference in paramotoring. You can always get any altitude you want. And I think that's one of the reasons that I got into acrobatic paramotoring, because like the next conquest, the challenge is not going where you want to go. You can always go where you want to go. There's plenty of freedom in paramotoring, but where is the challenge? Well, for me, it's in, wingovers and loops and sats and tumbles and tail slides and soon helis and misties. So I got to the top of that thermal and decided to push out here over the flats. And the idea was that this would be the start of my cross country. When I talked to the owner, he said that these flat areas, if you look at where I'm headed to, are pretty reliable generators of thermal activity. But all I'm finding is sink. And I didn't know how quickly I should bail on that sink, because if you can picture air going up, well, if air went up in a column, then the air next to that column would be going down to feed it from the bottom. So if you find big sink, then there might be big lift right next to it. And for a while, I kind of hung in there and hoped for that, but it didn't work out. So I ended up turning around, headed back to the hill, and scratching my way up. Have faith, they said. The valley has reliable thermals, they said. I'm in some hurt here. I've just been on bar, sinking bad, feeling no hope. What I want to do is get to that rock, but it is well above me and there's just trouble. It is going to be scratchy if I can get up this hill again. I might not. Oh, it's encouraging. Oh shit, Woody, turned. There's a little lift. I want to turn in this lift. That's right, I'm gaining altitude in the turn. Mostly. Fight, Woody, fight. Now let's turn before we hit that sink we had before. Fight. Oh, let it fly. Scratchy. Fight. Not in love with this power line. It's a place to crash. Stop sinking! So I'm gonna fast forward me fighting my way back up the hill, but I spent another 15 or 20 minutes just scratching and clawing my way up foot by foot. I almost made the mistake of leaving lift for my expected lift, but I'm not going to. I'm going to stay in my lift that's working. One in the hand, two in the bush. You know. Alright. I'm sinking right now. But I reached cloud base a second ago. I was even with those guys. Now I'm trying to get on the windward side of that mountain right there. And hopefully it'll have some lift. I'm not a super expert at free flight, so I just experiment and learn, see what's up. Oh, look at the view, by the way. It's going pretty well. Oh, I've been flying for 46 minutes so far, so, you know, into it. I'm just not quite sure where the lift is. There's another pilot here with me now, so I'm hoping that one of us can find it. Oh, might be me. Feel it again. Yeah. No, it's so things are going well. I'm in a thermal. It doesn't sound like it. The only issue is it's kind of crowded. I think there's 4 of us here, and I feel like it's I'm not used to flying people this closely, I guess. But skying out. Oh, and also the wing, it doesn't collapse, but every so often, like, I sink fast enough that I can hear it kind of deflate and reinflate, but I haven't, like, visually caught it, like, actually, like, taking a big deflation on the side. I just hear the fabric wrinkle and unwrinkle. Trying to stay on top of that. But yeah, man, pigging out on big fat thermals, linking them together, which is the thing, like, you know, predicting where it's going to be, and or using other indicators. Easiest indicators, these other pilots. It's going good. So I'm about an hour into my flight. Oh, actually an hour and a half into my flight, and I'm over the LZ. It's this. Ooh, I may have lift here, but I've been sort of scratching in less than neutral for 10 minutes now, and I think it's gonna lead to my landing. I tried leaving it, looking for something better, like, you know, maybe I'm just not in the core of this thermal, and all I found was sink. So that cost me about 600 crucial feet, and I'm gonna scratch and fight all the way down, but it's been my experience that it's way easier to core thermal when you're already pretty high and the thermal's well developed. When you're down here, it's just, I don't have a lot of luck with low saves. I don't like the way I'm setting up here. I feel like I'm gonna have a turn that's low to the ground. I just can't seem to lose altitude. I'm gaining it right now. But if I could see, I'm too high to glide to where I want to glide to. I'm doing a good job. This is going to be okay. Oh, we're good. Like he said, you'll glide forever, land crosswind. Wow, I'm coming in hot. Oh, no wonder he butt landed. It is hard to see what's up with like belly high grass. The ground like wasn't where I expected it to be, but I'm gonna say nailed it. All is well. Like and subscribe, maybe? After that flight, I hopped in a truck, went up to the back to the top of the mountain, and flew again. You'll see this launch goes a lot more smoothly than my first one does, because I'm getting a little lift on the hill. The first one I almost abandoned. This one, there was no such motivation. Everything went really well. So that's it. I'm a P3 pilot. Like I said, I've got 50 some hours as I record this, and in some ways, I feel like I'm a strong P3, like with regards to acro, maybe dealing with deflations or bad weather. And in some ways, I think of myself as a weak P3. A lot of it having to do with, say, mountain knowledge and aspects of weather, identifying where the next thermal will come from, especially in the challenging East Coast environment. But here I am, flying around, having a good time, getting some experience, loving it. I hope you like the video.